Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 779A, and today's date is September 30th, 2015, and the title of this episode is 6 out of 6 Fed surveys confirms the U.S. is in a recession and headed into an economic collapse. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. The interview with Carl Denninger has been uploaded to the X22 Report Spotlight channel. If you are going to YouTube, just type in X22 Report Spotlight. It'll bring you right to that video. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com site, scroll down a little bit, look over to your right. You will see the video right there. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we are continually seeing huge fluctuations in the market. I mean, look, yesterday we had a down market. Today, the high-frequency trading, the plunge protection team, they brought the market back up. And we can see that if we look at day by day here, the market has these huge declines and huge increases. And sometimes they just can't get it that high. But we are starting to see right now that this whole entire system that we are operating in is being held together by propaganda, by manipulated statistics, by a central bank, which is continually creating money and giving free money to those people to put into the market. We have the high-frequency traders, the plunge protection team, keeping the market alive. And they continually throw us this ridiculous manipulated numbers to make us feel like everything is fine. I mean, ADP, we're not even at the end of the month. I mean, today's the last day of the month, but they decided they already know how many jobs there's going to be. And they came out and said, listen, September added about 200,000 jobs. We have about 2.21% year-over-year job growth. But when we look at manufacturing has dropped by 15,000 jobs. 15,000! And for the first time during this business cycle, the U.S. hasn't added a single manufacturing job this year. And if you remember, they're all being replaced by part-time bartenders, waiters. And I have nothing against those people who are working in that industry. It is tough. But when you're going and taking away these high-paying jobs in manufacturing in corporate America, people are not going to be able to survive with these types of jobs. And we can see it's starting to make sense why the Baltic Dry Index is continually falling. It has fallen another 26 points. We're down to 900. And we're holding pretty steady around 900 at this point. At this time of year, production should be picking up. They should be producing for the holiday season. And we should see the Baltic Dry Index way above 1,200, 1,400. But it's way below that, and it's falling. And we understand why. Because manufacturing is not happening. Why isn't it happening? Well, those people who are being laid off from HP, Unicredit, Deutsche, Kraft Heinz, and many other companies, they are scared, they're afraid, they don't have the extra money, they're not thinking about the holiday, they're thinking about where am I going to get work to keep my house, to keep my car, to continually feed my family. And this holiday season that's approaching is going to be terrible. We just reported that the September retail sales are down already. This is not a good sign. We see the Chicago PMI. Well, it has plunged back down to recessionary levels. And we're seeing that it printed at 48.7, below 50. They were expecting it to be much, much higher. And we're starting to see that a lot of the regional feds right now are reporting something really bad at this point. And that is a recession. Now, I'm going to go a step further. The regional feds are saying that things don't look good. They're flashing recessionary warnings, but we've been in a recession. This is really signaling a collapse of the system. I mean, the economy since 2008 is a complete illusion created by the central bank, by the U.S. government. And to say that we're heading into a recession is kind of ridiculous at this point. We're really headed into a collapse. But let's go with the recession. Let's go with what they're saying at this point. And what we're seeing is another regional Fed has joined Dallas, New York, Atlanta, Milwaukee. They have now said, yeah, we've had a drop, 39.4, the biggest drop since July 2012, and the lowest print since April of 2009. So what do we have now? In Milwaukee, we see that everything is a complete disaster. New orders down 35.51 from 47.52. Employment plunged from 47.04 to 41.88, lowest on record. Inventories collapsed, 53.57 down to 31.25. Order backlogs, 57 down to 37. So right now, 6 out of the 6 Fed surveys says the U.S. is in a recession. The first time since 2009 that all of them are reporting this. So how in the world are we in a recovery? When we are looking at these indicators, and of course we don't hear this on the corporate media because why would they want to tell you that? They're not going to tell you anything until the stock market crashes. Because that is their signal to say, okay, things really fell apart. But what we're seeing right now is everything is falling apart. It is not getting better. I mean, even the college graduates at this point, they understand, and 2/3 of them are saying that their U.S. college education is a complete ripoff. 2/3 of the students who graduated in the last 9 years and whose debt matches or exceeds the national average do not believe their degree was worth the cost. Most of them still cannot find the high-paying job. And they're feeling like, what did I go to school for? I have no skills. I have no ability to do anything except what? Sit in a cube and type emails. Unless you're going for something very, very specific, like being a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, an engineer, a teacher, a nurse, or anything like that. I mean, just going to college, just to go to college, doesn't really give you anything. Yes, it gives you this piece of paper, you get a BA or BS. But what is it really? What do you know how to do? What can you do? Not much. Not much at all. And this is the problem today. Everyone is going to college. Everyone has the same degree, but no one knows how to do anything. I mean, we're all sitting in these, not everyone, I mean, a lot of people are just sitting in these gray cubes, typing emails back and forth, and they think this is work. And those people coming out of college, as of today, can't find the work. But they're strapped with all of this debt. And with all this debt, what do? You stay home? You try to find a job? You might get a part-time job? But you can't save up to buy a house. You can't save up to get a car because you're strapped with the student loan. And again, these people coming out of college or just out of high school, this is the next generation. The youth of America is supposed to come in, get the education, get a job, save the money, buy in retail, save for a home. We're not seeing this. Actually, we're not seeing this throughout Europe. And we're starting to see the effects of all this. Now, the housing market, we are seeing prices come down. Traffic is drying up. We're out of the summer beautiful months where people go and purchase a house. A lot of people try to get into that house before the school season. We are now heading into October, and we're starting to see mortgage applications decrease by 6.7% from a week earlier. So again, mortgage applications are decreasing by quite a bit, which tells you people aren't buying the houses. And this is why we had pending home sales and existing home sales drop. The only thing the government was able to push was the surge in new construction. Now, that doesn't mean these contracts are going to go through. It's just that they had the ability to say, look, we have all this new construction and it's being built. Except those people who are in those existing homes, they just can't sell them. So a lot of those contracts most likely will be canceled. And just this past September, we have seen so many things happen. All of the largest stock markets in the world crashed simultaneously. And so far, for the amount of wealth that has been wiped out worldwide, it is in excess of $5 trillion. I mean, junk bonds are also crashing. Bank of America says it's like a slow-moving train wreck that seems to be accelerating. Commodity prices crashed. Many of the largest commodity traders are now imploding. Glencore, to name one of them. Within the last 60 days, we've seen something happen we have never seen before. For example, did you know we witnessed the greatest intraday stock market crash in U.S. history on August 24th? During that day, the Dow Industrial Average plunged from a high of 16,459 points to 15,370 points before rebounding. That intraday point swing was 1,089 points, and it was the largest in all of U.S. history. We've had the Dow fall within 2 days, 500 points on each day, in a row. In the U.S., the NASDAQ has had a string of down days recently, and a death cross that has just formed has many investors extremely concerned. A death cross occurs when a short-term moving average of security or an index pierces below the long-term trend, in this case the 50-day moving average breaking through the 200-day moving average. And a lot of investors are very concerned about this. And this is not the end of what's happening here. This is just the beginning. It's just starting. And as we move forward, it's really going to start to get worse. And we're going to have to see how the central bankers deal with this. Of course, we know they're going to manipulate everything. We know they're going to try to prop up the system. But when it gets out of hand, you know what they're going to do. You know they have something planned. You know they don't want to be blamed for this collapse of the entire system. Because in their minds, they really truly believe that once the system comes down and they blame it on another country or group, they want to restart it, just like they did in World War II with Bretton Woods. And we know right now that China is in discussions of maybe becoming the reserve currency of the world. Even though the IMF did not accept them into the basket of SDRs, I don't think they care at this point. Remember, they have the gold, they have the manufacturing. The U.S. has lost its manufacturing, about 1.5 million jobs, which was replaced with 1.4 million part-time jobs. This year, we haven't added any manufacturing jobs, and we just lost another 15,000. Out in the ECB, we see that they might have to boost QE by 120% to 2.4 trillion euros. Because what they're seeing right now is unexpected deflation, and they believe they need more stimulus, to boost inflation. So they're going to pump out and create more currency. Of course, it's not going to the everyday person. All of this is going to be going to the banks. to the wealthy, to the elite. Now, China is continually buying gold, and they sold their U.S. treasuries, and they took the cash from the U.S. treasuries, and they went and they bought more gold. And China right now is the 5th in world gold holdings. Of course, we don't know the total amount. They might be 3rd, they might be 2nd. They could be 1st. We don't know exactly. But what's very interesting about this is that the PBOC, they might start leaking incremental gold holdings every month. And you say to yourself, why would they do this at this point? What would be the point of it? Well, we've always said this. The country that has the gold is going to be the winner. When they hear a country has gold, they feel it's secure. And I think what they're going to do to build confidence is they're going to leak how much gold they have each month, and they're going to try to build confidence using this. So they're going to try to save their economy and to boost it up by leaking this information. Now, can the U.S. do this? Well, I don't think so, because the U.S. really doesn't have gold. They won't allow an audit of the Fed, of Fort Knox, and there's a lot of people out there saying the U.S. absolutely has no gold left whatsoever. And we have no indication that the U.S. is buying any gold at this time. But if we look back at World War II, the U.S. had the manufacturing. The U.S. kind of stole the gold from the people. Then they took on more gold from all the European nations. And they became the reserve currency of the world. The U.S. has no manufacturing left. Jobs are all outsourced overseas. The U.S. has no gold. Why would anyone trust the U.S. to restart the system? They wouldn't. They're going to look to another strong country that has manufacturing, that has gold. And right now we're looking at Russia and especially China at this point. We see the third quarter earnings seasons is ending, and we're seeing that the third quarter wiped out about 11 trillion off the global economy. It was a disaster, a complete disaster. So over the last 3 months, the aggregated losses in global stock markets exceeded $11 trillion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Now, since Obamacare was brought in as the insurance for everyone, where they basically mandated that everyone has to get some type of insurance or you're penalized. And of course, as we know, this is not a benefit for the people. We see that whatever Obama has told us has not come true. And people are starting to get letters that their premiums are going to start going up. I mean, Blue Cross Blue Shield, they've basically sent out letters saying that their premiums are set to rise by 60%. Now, that's quite a bit. And this is going to make it more and more difficult for people to make ends meet, because if you look at a premium here of, let's say, 867, which someone was paying, that's going to go up to $1,365. And of course, they don't want to come out and say, well, because of the Supreme Court mandated tax known as Obamacare, this is why your premiums are going up. They're blaming it on everything else. Actually, the letter states that because the reason why they're raising the premiums is because Americans are living healthier lives, and because of these changes, we must adjust your premium to stay in line with increased costs. And they're saying the cost of all the medication, and people are living longer, and this is the reason they're giving. Well, it's strange. So after Obamacare, premiums are skyrocketing. Before Obamacare, we didn't see anything like this. Yes, premiums did go up a little bit, but not like this. Actually, the Affordable Care Act told us it was going to go down. Isn't that what Obama told us? We're not seeing this whatsoever. And we have to remember how this all occurred. I mean, we had the insurance companies, the government officials, or government employees get together and said, hey, how can we make a huge amount of money off these people? I know. Let's tell them we'll give them all health insurance. We'll raise the deductibles. And we won't really give them that many benefits. But we'll say everyone will get health insurance to make everyone feel good about it. But what happens if people decide they don't want to do it? Well, then we'll put a penalty on them. And the penalty will increase each year. And it will force them into the system. And this way, the insurance companies, they have no competition. They just keep the premiums at one level. And then they can all raise it whenever they want. And the taxes that are intertwined in Obamacare goes to the government for revenue. And for those people who are not in the health insurance, they're taxed and that revenue goes to the government. But we see Obamacare is having a problem. They need 22 million more people to keep this system alive. We see Obamacare is collapsing in many different areas. But as we know, they're continually pushing the idea that we need this. Actually, what we need is something that benefits the people. We don't need more taxes. We need to get rid of the central bank. We need to start taking control of our lives again. We need to replace those who are not working for the people, and those people in the government need to step down. This is what really needs to happen at this point. Because just talking about it, just hearing from all these government employees saying they're going to do this and that, we need to go to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is the central bankers. There's no accountability. Because all they're doing is borrowing from the central bank. And there's interest attached on that. It can never be paid back. It's impossible. Because every $1 the Fed gives, they want, let's say, 2 back. Where do you get the other dollar if it's not created? You can't find it. So the Fed has to create more currency, which means the government has to borrow. The government has the ability to create its own currency. They do not need the central bank. Actually, what benefit does the central bank give? We haven't seen any benefit whatsoever. So why do they keep the central bank in power? The only reason I can think of is they're getting kickbacks from the central bank, free money, to keep them in power. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.